spinning and self-defense. We're going to do thrusts and strikes. I'm going to show you how to use your martial arts long staff, in this case the bow staff, for self-defense. But also we're going to do some of the other things that are fun with the bow, like the spins, that also build strength in your hand. You're going to start with this warm-up, moving side to side. This allows you to twist the staff from one side to the other and stretch out the tendons, get the blood flowing so you can stay safe from injury during this workout. From here, you're going to go to the other side. When you train bow staff at home, whether you're a beginner or intermediate, you need to always start with a good warm-up. So this is basic warm-up, side to side. The weight of the staff I'm using today is about a middle weight. You can see that link below if you want to see what staffs look like, what costs are, stuff like that. But this is just a 72-inch staff, a 6-foot staff. This one's made out of white oak. You can get a red oak staff that's a little bit heavier. You can go for rattan that's a little bit lighter. You see all those different options below. But once you've done this warm-up spin on both sides, you're now going to start to go from one hand to the next. We're going to get right into strikes for self-defense. When you learn how to use a martial arts staff for self-defense, you need to know how to do thrusting, two things, thrusting and striking. I'm going to show you what the difference is. Good morning. It's good to see everybody this morning. Just going side to side. Danelle, it's good to see you. I need to get close to see it. My eyes are a little tired this morning from a long week. I'm going side to side, twisting. And when you do this motion side to side, you're now going to increase the rate of, or the range of motion. So you're getting a better stretch and putting more stress on those muscles, so your grip is getting stronger. You're getting a much stronger grip. If you do other martial arts or other self-defense styles like boxing or grappling, jiu-jitsu, judo, you need a strong, powerful grip. You need strong hands and wrists. If you're striking, if you're grabbing and pulling, this will get you there. Using the bow every single day. And we've broken this down. We talk about you can do 100,000 spins in 100 days. But this is the warm-up move, side to side, stomach up and in, breathe through your nose. Now you're warmed up. Let's talk about that first self-defense move. I'm going to put this staff between me and the threat. We're going to call this bag the threat. You're hiking, you're walking. This could be a hiking staff or a hiking stick. You're walking down the street, point your thumb at the threat and thrust. A thrust is as simple as pushing. Think about pushing straight through from the front of them, coming out somewhere in the back by a couple of feet, right? You always want to thrust and go through the target. Try to do as much damage as possible when you talk self-defense, because you want to end the fight as soon as possible. So the first motion, I'm behind the staff. I'm going to point my thumb. When you point your thumb, it pops it into the back hand. Anytime you have two hands on a weapon, that's better than one. You aim and you simply thrust. When you move your whole body, it's really going to move them back. It's going to hit with speed, force, power, and a lot of strength. And you're not going to move back that much. You're going to be able to thrust from here straight into the stomach, maybe into the throat, into the face, into the groin. Maybe it's that vicious animal that's running around. You need to defend yourself. I saw one of my neighbors this morning. He was out walking with his stick. He uses a Joe, a shorter martial arts stick. Actually, it looks like the handle of a short shovel, but it's about the same length as a Joe staff. A Joe martial arts staff is about this big, 54 inches. This is the bow, the one we're working with now, has a lot more reach. But that first self-defense move, pushing with your whole body, your hands and your arms kind of turn. And when you turn, I'm turning up here. I'm gonna lock it in, push and lock. When you push and lock, this hand goes over, locking down. This hand comes up, locking in. I do it together, and I'm also going to move my body forward simply by taking a step. It's as simple as that. Now, when I'm walking behind the staff, when we're using this for self-defense, I put the staff between me and the threat. If you're the threat, or the threat is in your position, I now am a smaller target. I'm a big wide target. Take a step back, I'm a smaller target. Point the thumb. Now the stick is between me and the threat. They've got to get around that. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to thrust straight through. Now we're going to come back to thrust, strike, self-defense moves, but I want to work on spinning. We're going to start with a butterfly spin. I'm going to put my right hand on top today. This is my left hand. It's going to come under, palm to the back of the hand, wrist to wrist. They're gonna stay in contact. I'm gonna turn the top hand all the way down so the thumb is facing the ground. My bottom hand is gonna turn under and grab it right like this. So both thumbs are facing the ground. And then I'm gonna let that pull in and out of the way. I saw Danielle's comment just now. She said she protected her friend with a pool stick or a billiard cue. Yes, it's the same thing, right? It's a nice long piece of wood, nice and hard. You put it between you and the threat and then thrust. That's our first self-defense motion. We're gonna go into some other things you can do for self-defense too. This is the butterfly spin. We call it the butterfly spin because when it comes together like this looks like the butterfly's wings. There's his antennae or her head. The key to this one, this is where everybody kind of gets stuck, is when you slide it into your hand. See how that's palm to the back of the hand? The other hand has to pull out of the way for it to turn all the way down as far as it'll turn, and then just turn this hand under, take it, palms are facing each other or in opposite directions, however you want to look at it, and then you're going to take with the bottom hand, pull the top hand out of the way, and then right at the end of this hand turning, you're going to pop it back in. See if we can show you from this angle, and then it just slides in there from here, sliding in. Show you from the front without smashing the camera. This side maybe. See how my palms are both facing the sky. Now, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time here. And then when you're done, go about 50 times in one direction. We're gonna get you to 100,000 spins in 100 days. And that'll give you basic mastery of bow skill. You wanna learn how to use the bow staff and the martial arts long staff for self-defense and to overall improve your grip strength, your health. You're gonna sweat. Do 100,000 spins. That's 1,000 spins a day for 100 days, but it's gonna go really fast. After 50 times in one direction, just change and go the other way. And when I'm going the other way, now the bottom hand is turning all the way out. Top hand pulls out of the way, slides there, thumb to pinky, takes it, stays in contact, the wrists are in contact. I'm gonna open the butterfly wing. There's the head. There are the wings. Get that out of the way. Turn it. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time. Once you get it, then feel free to speed up. Should have taken off my watch. It's getting in the way. You can hear it a little bit. And this will also give you that much stronger grip. We talk about grip having the ability to hold on. You're gonna be able to strengthen everything. Good. Dano says she's been practicing 500 strikes a day for 7 months. I didn't see the comment about pulling on the shoulder muscles. Hopefully it was a positive thing and not that negative. But wherever you are, you're gonna get stronger with daily practice. Let's talk about self-defense. We started with the basic thrust. You did the thrust at the beginning. You got yourself behind your staff, you pointed it, and you thrust straight through. This is the center line of the body. We're calling this the attacker. That's the thug, the bully, the punk. When you learn, or when you start to learn how to do bow staff training at home, you do learn the bow staff or learn the martial arts staff for self-defense. You need two kinds of basic strikes. The thrust, and then the other one, that slicing thing. Inexplicable says you watched bow staff a few weeks ago. Making progress. From here, I'm gonna point my thumb, thrust, and then I'm gonna pull that hand back to the same shoulder. Now my left hand is in front. If you're right-handed or you're left-handed, it's not gonna matter because I want you to always practice with both hands equally. That means when this beginning move, get behind it, thrust, 30 seconds at a time, the left foot forward, switch. Right hand forward, thrust, point the thumb at the threat, thrust, 30 seconds, switch back. We're going to build combinations. I want you to learn how to fight with bow combinations. So striking combinations for self-defense, you might not use them in this order, but this will allow you to do, Homie Ridvan says, finally learned how to do butterfly spin. Congratulations. I know that's elusive for a lot of people sometimes. I'm glad you got it. Kid Zeus, good to see you. After you do one strike, I want you to start to add another strike. Now, you might not use these strikes in this combination for self-defense. It doesn't matter. I want you to have the habit of following through, one after the next. The fight's not over for self-defense. The fight's not over till you win, which means if you just do one strike and stop, that allows them to come back and take their opportunity to strike you. And you don't want to give them any opportunities, right? You want to be paying attention to what's happening around you. Situational awareness, number one. Number two, you see the threat, you get in a better position. Point your thumb, that pops it into the backhand. Number three, you ask yourself the question, breathe first, what targets can you remove or destroy for self-defense? Eyesight, their ability to see you, their ability to breathe, temporarily or permanently. Their ability to stand by striking them here or into the knee, or their ability to reach out and stab you or grab you or punch you. You're gonna break those joints with your staff for self-defense. So as you are in this position, we're doing this combination, bow staff striking combinations. When you learn how to use bow staff at home for beginners, or welcome back Germany. Someone just said, well, Germany's here in the comment section. Bow staff at home for beginners, or martial arts long staff for self-defense, spinning and striking. You want to have a combination and not stop with one, come back, and then they attack you, and then you go back and forth. 1 for 1 is wrong. They're gonna try to hit you once. I want you to hit them 10 times. Yes, Inexplicable says dominance. I want you to dominate the self-defense fight. Dominate the self-defense fight means for every one strike they throw at you, you're gonna hit them 5,000 times. You're gonna do 100,000 spins in 100 days. Maybe that 5,000 is an exaggeration, but however many it takes, if you can overwhelm them with strikes. I have been in the position because the skill level that I came from, I grew up in this martial arts school, a certain style, was so good, it was so advanced, and I trained with world champions, Olympic champions, an Olympic coach, and then when I would travel and visit other martial arts schools, sometimes, there was one time in particular, I remember this school had a really bad culture where the men who were a little bit stronger, more athletic, dominated against the weaker students, beginner students, and the women in the program because the culture was bad. And it's one of the worst things I ever see. And I remember the instructor, who was a younger Korean guy, and he said to me, he said, can you teach him a lesson? Because he was concerned about it too. And I said, absolutely, I'm the guy for the job. This is making my stomach turn watching these guys beat up on weaker opponents. I hate that. Anyway, all the thoughts, every fight's starting to come back. But you know, you bow in. And some of you know what this is like. And because I have so much more skill and experience fighting against world champion fighters, and these guys are not that, but they needed to learn. This is the way we used to do it. No words were ever exchanged. You'd beat up somebody, you'd knock somebody, hit them too hard, take advantage of your strength advantage or whatever it was. The next thing you know, the next person bowing in is either the instructor, who's a lot better than you, or the best fighter in the school. No words are exchanged, but you're gonna get your lesson. And so I gave the lesson over and over and over. But my point is, if you do it right, you are able to. Oh, Dana, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for every school like that exists. But know for a fact, this school was in Atlanta, Georgia. Some well-known people there. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was able to dominate, as you said, and they weren't able to throw one kick, one punch that was able to land. And that was just because I had that training. I'm not saying I'm that much better, but I was in that case. And I want you to be like that. I want you to hit them so many times, so fast, overwhelm them. That violence of action, the special forces, special units, Navy SEALs, Delta Force operators, special units, SWAT teams, they train to overwhelm the enemy, to hit them so hard and so fast and so many times in a row. And executive protection programs that I've been able to train with, seen them just dominate, hit 5, 10, 15, 20 times till the person's on the ground begging for mercy or just quit. That's the kind of self-defense I want for you with your bow. So from here, we're gonna build combinations. We have that thrust first, bring it to the shoulder, and I want you to strike this downward motion and think of targets: temple, neck, shoulder, elbow, arm. Oh, good morning. W9 UFO says good morning, Sensei. Good morning to you and everybody else. Thrust, angle, thrust, angle. And you're holding here in a split grip. One hand is out, one hand is in. Now, you're gonna do that for 30 seconds. If you have a bag or a stack of tires or a tree or a pole that's padded, you wrap some pad around. Great target training to hit, but you don't need a target. You can thrust, smash, thrust, and if you wanna work on accuracy, take a tennis ball or some kind of ball, put a hole through it, wrap a string through it and around a couple times, tie a knot, make sure it's a tough string because you're gonna break it. And then hang it from a tree branch, get outside in the beautiful weather that you have, practice thrusting and hit that small target. And as it starts to swing back, bam, smash it. That's that hand coming in with a knife or a punch, or trying to grab you, or trying to slap, or trying to hit you with the skateboard. So you're gonna thrust and then bam, smash it right out of the air. Practice that equally on both sides. From here, thrust. I like to do 30 seconds per side. I want you to try 30 seconds per side. That's your second striking combination. Your first striking combination, that's the second self-defense move. The first one was get behind the staff, point the thumb, thrust. The second one is get behind the staff, point the thumb, thrust, add that downward chopping strike right to the neck, right to the hand, right to the temple. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Thank you for saying that. Now, back to the spins. I want you to go into the figure eight spin. This is from the series of 100,000 spins in 100 days. So if you go back, if you look at some of the videos I did in the last few weeks, I'm giving you the template for how to reach basic level mastery. That's 10,000 moves, right? But I picked 10 different moves, 10 spins, to be done 1,000 times a day. It won't take long, I promise. Follow the video. Do that for 100 days, and before you know it, you're a master of the basics. You have the basics of the martial arts long staff, in this case the bow, the Koreans call it jangbong, Chinese call it the gun, the cudgel, gong, bong, all kinds of different names depending on what style you're doing, if it's wushu, or if you're doing traditional Chinese kung fu martial arts. But it's basically the same. It's a long stick. In India, the birthplace of martial arts. In India, birthplace of martial arts, you might put the other hand on it, and now you're doing silambam. Other hand, forward spin, you're gonna do 30 seconds per hand, or 50 spins. These are all forward spins. And you're doing these forward spins, again, to build speed, strength, power in these hands. Oh, Danielle says pyro pole. Yeah, you might be one of the fire spinners. That's a great way to start. Or maybe like Michelle Krista Smith, who's one of the best instructors here on YouTube for the bow, different style than mine, but she comes from, what do they call it? The baton. And I think she might say it's not twirling, but I'm not sure. But I think she takes it very seriously. She's also a stunt fighter. So her martial arts training is really cool. She does a lot of cool stuff with the lightsaber. Now, I want you to build strength in the front of the shoulder, the side of the shoulder, and the back of the shoulder. So you're gonna take that same move, forward spin to the side, and you're gonna do it front to back. And if you wanna make this 100 spin a day, do 25 in the front on each hand, 25 to the side on each hand. Now I'm just going to the front of the body and to the back of the body. Front of the body, stomach up and in, abs tight, pull your chin down, breathe through your nose. Get your other hand up, always get your other hand up. Practice correctly. Imagine self-defense. You're not gonna spin in self-defense. You're gonna use spinning to build speed, strength, power, balance, coordination, proprioception, better timing and distance, spatial awareness. All that comes from spinning. Callus in your hands, tighter, stronger grips, stronger hands. All of that from spinning your bow, your long martial arts staff. When you learn bow staff at home for beginners, or when you learn bow staff at home for intermediate, you have to have power in your grip. You get that from the spins. Now, some people don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't have to agree with everybody. Not everybody agrees with me. That's what makes the world go round. What a boring place if we all were the same, right? However, in my experience, this is what builds that wicked strong power grip. In fact, the strongest grip that I've ever had and the strongest shoulders, healthiest shoulders I've had, come from three. One is the Japanese sword, the bokken, the wooden one especially, and the katana, and using all the variations of that, the wooden oar. But then the other one is this martial arts long staff, the bow, the Japanese bow. And then a supplemental, which is also a weapon, the Indian swinging clubs. I've got a lot of videos on those. If you're looking for the answer to strong, healthy shoulders and a power grip, look at the Indian swinging club videos that I have on here. I'll keep it simple for you. Let's go back to strikes and that striking combination. I want you to have bow staff striking combination. And now I want to talk about footwork, just real quick. You ask me about footwork every once in a while. As long as your feet are under your body and they're not too wide, you're going to be good. If they're wide, watch where my head is here. It just drops 6 to 10 inches. That means my belly button, which behind my belly button is my center of gravity. My center of gravity just dropped. Now to go forward or to go back, I've got to bring my center of gravity up and then go back down again. That wastes a lot of energy, time, distance, all the things I don't want to waste when I'm defending myself. I'm gonna get hit, it's too slow. So when you fight, whether it's with this weapon or any other weapon or without a weapon, keep your center of gravity in its natural position. Maybe just a little bit lower because you bend your knees, which is a really smart idea. That makes you fast and explosive. But don't go super duper wide. Don't have wide feet. Don't have duck feet or pigeon toes. Unless you're doing the Wing Chun punch, then you can do the Wing Chun pigeon toes. But that's the Wing Chun punch, pigeon toes, and other martial arts use that too. That's to build strength, right? Like the horse riding stance. In traditional Japanese karate, Tang Sudo in Korea, Korean Tang Sudo, or Hwarangdo, or Taekwondo, they all use those stances too because they're closely related, even though some people will say they're not. But those traditional stances are great for pumse, or kata, or forms, or patterns, whatever the word, because they do build strength, and there's a lot of value in kata. I'm not going to get into that argument. Agree to disagree if you don't agree. But when it comes to self-defense, I'm not doing martial arts for self-defense. I'm doing what works. I want practical, immediate, direct, and explosive. I want to have a neutral position with my feet. I want to have a fast position. I want them directly under my body. I don't want to be wide. Wide is slow for 5,000 reasons. The number one reason is your center of gravity is down. Number two reason is we don't need another reason. Your center of gravity just dropped. You got to bring it up to go forward. That's inefficient. So keep your weight on the balls of the feet. Bend the knees a little bit. Point your thumb. Thrust. Number two was this downward angular strike. Number three is going to come across the body. That's 3 strikes in a combination. We have a thrust, an angular strike, and a horizontal strike. Thrust, angle down, strike through with the horizontal. Now all of these strikes can be done to the head, to the neck, to the body, to the waist, to the legs, to that vicious pit bull running around mauling people because it's been abused and broke its chain. Who knows why those pit bulls do that so often? They're in the news every day, it seems. But it's a vicious animal. I'm not talking about someone's family pet. Unless it was their family pet and now it's off the chain and it's hurting people. And you happen to be out for a walk. Maybe you got one of those little fluffy frou-frou dogs this big and you're walking around and they're going after you. You need to defend yourself. Best thing to do, by the way, is to stick something in its mouth and let it chew on that, because that's what it wants to do, is grab something. So put your stick in its mouth and let it wrestle with your stick. Wait for the owner to come, or for animal control or the police officer to come and put it down properly if they have to. God forbid. But better than another person, innocent person mauled, right? And that's just for you people who ask me all the time, what do you do when that vicious dog is running around? You're out for a hike, a jog, a walk. What can you do? And if you're carrying a stick, first thing is stick it in its mouth. If that doesn't work, then you go for that strike right on the nose. Let's go back to this striking combination. You're behind your staff, point your thumb, thrust, angle down, angle across, or drive straight across. It's a pushing motion, and then it's just striking down at the angle. And again, the target might be temple, neck, wrist, elbow. Hit the joint, it's gonna break. 1, 2, and then coming across. It's almost like just a straight punch. This hand is just coming through here. That turns your body, taking through, or going through anything and everything it hits. Maximum force for self-defense. From here, thrust, angle, horizontal. Thrust, angle, horizontal. I'm gonna add one more since we're here and I'm running out of time. And I want you to see how to defend yourself. This is just that vertical strike straight down. Talk about keeping it simple. Let's talk about it again. I get behind it, point my thumb, thrust, angle down, come across the middle, smash on the forehead, straight through on the thrust, angle down, come across, down on top, and then watch what I do with my hands. I just switch, get in the other position, stand behind it, put the staff between me and the threat, point the thumb, thrust, angle down, come straight through, down on top. From here, thrust, angle, straight through, down on top, and I want to give you one last spinning combination so you can build power, wicked power, for this self-defense in particular. Start with your hands in that split position. You're going to go over the back of the hand that's facing the ground. You're going to push up with a hand that's facing the ceiling. They're both pushing at the same time. I'm pushing up and pushing down, but then I'm going to stop this one. Stop it and let it roll. That's the wrist roll. Let it wrist roll and stop it. Wrist roll the other way and bring it to a stop. By adding a little bit of speed, pull your stomach up and in, drop your chin. Increase your breathing through your nose. You're going to now make it hard for you to stop it, which is going to build the strength in the hands and that grip. So when you have to defend yourself, you have wicked strength, speed, power, balance, coordination, all from spinning. And again, spinning's not for fighting, spinning's for supporting. It's like a boxer jumps ropes. The boxer hits the heavy bags, builds that knockout power. The boxer goes and works on the speed bag. Boxer hits the gym. Boxer gets up early, 4 in the morning, drinks a bunch of runny eggs in the cup like Rocky, and goes for an 8-mile run and runs up to the top of in the Philadelphia, what was it, the Art Center, the museum, and then there's a statue and he's up at the top, the music's, and all the little kids are following. But he doesn't do any of that in the ring. He just does that to get ready for the ring, to get ready for self-defense, for you, to get ready for your ring. Practice these spins. Bringing it over and stop. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Slow it down if you have to. See what I'm doing with this other hand? How it stays in contact with my hand and then I slide it down. You want to learn how to have good control of your bow, good control of your martial arts long staff. When you're learning how to train martial arts staff at home for beginners, or you want to learn how to use a martial arts staff for self-defense or for spinning, learn how to keep your hands close together and always in contact with your bow while you're spinning. Even though you're not going to spin in the fight, that's going to teach you good weapon control, good weapon retention skills. In other words, you're not going to be doing, eventually you can do let me see if I can get it going. There we go, a skip catch. That's number 10, by the way, you want to do that. Skip catch, I'll teach you that. But the reason I don't teach this that much is because I like to have you on your staff the whole time, having full contact, full self-control, and then when you start to do all your tricks, that kind of stuff, you don't drop it as much because you started being aware of where your hands are in relation to your staff. So grab your staff, do the training, do the warm-up, watch this video again. If you haven't, please subscribe, consider joining. Thank you to all the members. We're growing this virtual dojo because of you.